All right, Cancer, it took a while for those cards to come up. And I do feel like some of you are a little anxious this month. And there may be some situation that you're anxious about or nervous about, or we're trying not to be nervous about. But when the outcome occurs, or when, you know, the situation is faced head on, or whatever the case may be, I feel like you're going to be getting a little sick to your stomach. I don't feel that's necessarily related to this message. But I feel like some of you are just going to be feeling like it's just like, I feel like you're taking some kind of hit. It's not something that's coming out the clear blue. Like, you know, you didn't see it coming. Like, I think that in some way you did see it coming, but just to have the whole weight of it hit you is a lot. With the Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like you're needing to find a new approach to control in your life. Okay, and now with the Ten of Cups here as well, I feel like, you know, there's nothing wrong with making your career a focus in your life. And there's nothing wrong, because we have 3 tens now. There's nothing wrong with being very cut and dry about what you're willing to give your attention to, the way you want to live, how you, you know, the rules that you follow, and being very strict and stern. You know, but with the Wheel of Fortune here, I feel like if you've been in a rut, or if things for the last year or so, 10 months to a year, have been undesirable in any type of way, if you don't like the direction things have taken, if you have done, you know, so much to make sure you're in control, but constantly are getting elements thrown at you that make you feel out of control, I feel like you need to really consider altering your approach, because I feel like you're just burning yourself out. I feel like you're burning your candles at both ends, and you're so afraid to surrender. You're so afraid to surrender. And I feel like, because I think in your head, surrendering is synonymous with giving up and allowing life to like whoop that ass. But in reality, I feel like there's been a lot of mind games that you've been playing with yourself and with your reality. Like, how can I control the narrative? How can I try to avoid this? How can I try to avoid that? And all it does is end up just draining you. With the Ten of Cups here and the Two of Pentacles, I feel like you've been trying to juggle family life with work, or, you know, there's this idea that you have to choose whether you have a fulfilling career or a family, or it's like, well, in order for me to really ever have a family, or to feed my family, or to be able to feel stable and enjoy my family when I see them, I need to continue to working, or I need to work 2 jobs. But I feel like it's getting to the point where, you know, you have to ask yourself, is this behavior really creating any progress in my life? And is it true to my own nature? I feel like there's a big clearing this month that's happening between the heart and the throat. I feel like Cancers have been having a hard time speaking what's actually in their heart chakra. They've just been kind of stuck. I feel like there's been a block in the throat chakra, and whether it's because they were still collecting data, or trying to just feel everything out. But I feel like you've kept a lot to yourself, and I don't know if it's really serving you anymore. All right, Cancer. First of all, I want to tell you that I do mid-month extended and love readings. Those are found on my website. All that info is in the description box below. I don't launch the mid-month right away, like right now. So on my website, you'll see when those are available, because I'll be interested to see how this plays out. Also, now's a good time for a year ahead reading, and all that info is in the description box as well. With that said, I feel that you guys this month are doing some serious solar plexus work. And I say that because laying these cards made me nauseous. Like, and the solar plexus rules the stomach. And that's obviously also where we connect with other people. And, you know, it's holiday season, and sometimes we have to be around family that we don't really like, or it just magnifies what we don't have and all that kind of stuff, right? But it feels different for you guys. It does than the other signs that I've done so far. Your overall energy, like we had in the beginning, is the Wheel of Fortune. And this is about needing to be present for change and taking a different approach. Because the Wheel of Fortune comes and it turns. And yes, it talks about bringing benevolence, or it talks about initiating change or bringing change. But we can't lock change in, and cycles won't alter. They'll repeat if we take the same old path, right? And a little bit this month, I'm feeling like this is when it rains, it pours type of energy. It may have been going on for the last 3 months, the last 3 years. But you're finally looking at it through a different set of eyes, because I feel like it's one thing to take, you know, life's shitty circumstances and power through. Sometimes that is absolutely required. And then there's other times where we have to decide if a fight is really worth fighting, or if we can take a different path. Sometimes we absolutely have to go through the storm, weather the storm. Other times we can be a glutton for pain and a glutton for punishment. And I think this month you're having to really ask yourself, do you feel like you have to fight for what you want? Do you feel like you have to put up a struggle in order to succeed? And have you tried a different road to your desired outcome? Have you tried a different way of approaching life's obstacles? Because there's more to life than this. I feel like you've been in this space of having a really difficult time of people meeting you halfway. I think you've had a difficult time of interacting with people in a way that is just overall supportive and reciprocal. And, you know, I don't think there's been many situations that you feel like you're seen fully, or that you benefit just as much as the other person benefits. And what's interesting is these two cards came up together. The energy you're being initiated into this month is storm warning and walking away. These cards added together equal 10. So this is the 9, this is a 10, so together they make 10. And we have 10 as the overall energy. So 10 is the ending, but also the beginning. It's the alpha and it's the omega. And when you're at that 0 point, which is shown right here, okay? When you're at that 0 point and Spirit is giving you the opportunity to go a different way, what are you going to do? Because I feel like what is being challenged primarily this month is your views of safety and what you feel is the safe route. I feel like what you viewed as the safe route for quite some time is actually a lot harder, and more like harder for you to deal with than it needs to be. But it's like, well, I'd rather deal with hard external circumstances than deal with the difficult blocks or the difficult memories or whatever that live within me, right? Because storm warning is a heads up to what we're about to enter, right? And the potential danger, the potential risk, right? That we enter into. Now, this walking away message in comparison to this, I feel like says a couple different things. One, you have the power to walk away from any storm. If you decide it's not something that you want to weather, okay, even if you can't exit the scenario entirely, you can approach it differently, like I was saying before. Also, I think you have to pay attention to the things that you walk away from at the first sight of trouble or what you deem as trouble. Because I feel like with the whole picking and choosing your battles type of energy, I feel like you tend to pick battles that, again, are physically hard and that end up hurting you more in the long run than doing things that would challenge your spirit first. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like you choose chaos and like your own this own road that you have to take that is extremely trying for you and that leaves you doing a lot on your own instead of being vulnerable to people around you and being seen as someone that is struggling. It's like you don't want to do the ego work. You'd rather do like the physical work. It's hard for me to describe. On the bottom of the deck, though, when these cards came up, was Angel of Balance. And it's important for you to pay attention to in what ways you live in extreme. Okay? And I feel like there's also the energy here of like there's two sides to every story. There's more than one, path to the destination and things like that. What you're being asked to release this month, we have the Six of Pentacles and the High Priestess. On the High Priestess, we have the rune Luck. So I feel like this is saying if you want things to go in your favor, especially in work or in situations that involve another person and involve another person's cooperation, something that you just physically cannot do alone, right? So that's any type of relationship, any type of commitment or agreement, anything that requires you needing to collaborate and get the other person on board or you being on board with another person. I feel like you can't keep your needs to yourself. And you can't keep your lack of luck, right? Your lack of doing well or, your actual luck to yourself, okay? If you want people to see you for who you really are and see you at face value, you need to be willing to stand at face value. Because with the High Priestess here, there's something that you keep under wraps, okay? And I feel like especially in the situations where you don't feel like you're getting your needs met and you don't feel like the power struggle or the power yoking, if you will, is even. Like, people aren't evenly yoked. Like one person has leverage over the other person. And I feel like you attract situations where you're extremely in control and have the leverage, or you try to gain it through subversive ways. It's almost like to some extent you feel like the only way you can come out on top is if you move without being completely honest with everybody. And this isn't a Seven of Swords energy. This isn't like you're deceiving people like in a cruel manner or hurting anybody. But I also feel like you're never going to be able to even these scales of the Six of Pentacles and have healthy boundaries and things like that until you're willing to fully own whatever it is that you're hiding. Okay? And this is feminine energy. So I feel like this is like your subconscious truth. These are the things that I feel like when you see a storm kick up that would require you to own this energy, you walk away. But when someone comes for a fight, you get your King of Wands on. And you're like, let's go. Like, I don't back down from a fight, let's go. So it's more like you'd rather fight externally than own a softer part of you. It's a very interesting dynamic. And I think it's because you're like, well, I'd rather not get fed because I didn't speak up than speak up and then be rejected. The door that's now open that was once closed, we have the Fool with the Hierophant. And on the Hierophant, we have the rune Fertility. So this is a beautiful energy because this does talk about wiping the slate clean. That was actually Taurus's title. They had these cards in their outcome. So I do feel like you are being given an opportunity going into the new year where if you're ready to make different commitments, if you're ready to change the way that you work with your faith, and also apply the lessons that you've learned in this cycle in a different way, that's available to you. And I feel like that's where you're going to find a plethora of opportunity. The Hierophant also talks about having to kind of like yield to a hierarchy, And being that it's Sagittarius season and we're going to go into a year where Jupiter is in Sag, right? And there's a lot of energy around who is really in control. We have to remember that we co-create with a higher power. And if we continuously meet situations that trigger us or prod us or whatever, then there's something that needs to get done differently. Okay, especially if we've been experiencing the same things over and over again, that at least they feel the same way and they make us react the same way. And the Hierophant here is saying you have an opportunity to put all your lessons to good use and shed them with the Fool here. Because the Fool has no baggage. The Fool is willing to be naive and set himself free. But it's going to require that you commit to that freedom. Instead of committing to the storm. Instead of committing to the person that is weathered. Like, I feel like that's what it is. Like, it's almost like that, you know, being someone that deals with a lot of bullshit has become a part of your identity. So are you willing to walk away from this piece of your identity and from this period of time, this last cycle that has been all about trials and tribulations? Can you shed it and learn and say, you know what? It has instilled a different part of faith for me too. Also, if you like left the church or like left faith and stopped practicing any type of religion or don't really have a strong belief in anything, I feel like in order for you to really like cleanse yourself, some of you actually might need a literal cleansing from like a priest or from a babalao or something like that, from a santero, because I feel like you have a lot to shed and it's something that you can't do on your own. Because the Hierophant's also the guru. And I feel like there's a lot for you to learn from somebody that is non-biased and is a very seasoned, okay, in what you've gone through. This wouldn't be like a lawyer or anything like that. This would be like, again, like a spiritual type figure, a teacher of metaphysics, something like that, to help you rid yourself of all of this extra baggage. Your current energy as it relates to all of this, in your head, we have the Three of Swords with the rune Joy. In your heart, the King of Wands. In your foundation, the Five of Pentacles. With this King of Wands in your heart space, I'm getting a lot of like me against the world type of energy. Don't get me wrong, Cancer, you are extremely strong. You're extremely bold. And you are resilient, but do you need to prove it all the time? Because I feel like this Ten of Wands, King of Wands in your heart space is saying that nobody can pull you out of the funk that you're in. That obviously is your job, right? And the only way out is you know, only you would know the way out, right? Because you got yourself in this energy, if you will. However, there's levels to selfishness as well. There's nothing wrong with putting your needs first, and there's nothing wrong with having a very tunnel vision type of agenda, especially with your heart, right, and what you're willing to invest in. But if there are other people who have been weathering a storm with you and have stuck by you through a lot, I feel like you need to reframe that, and vice versa. If you have stuck by people through thick and thin, but they can't reciprocate back to you, and all that they cause is more storm and more chaos in your life, I feel like it's important to put yourself back on top priority. Because the Five of Pentacles in your foundation, this is kind of like a Hierophant issue for me. I don't really think this is money per se, but I feel like you've been kind of like wandering for a while. And I don't know when the last time felt for you like you were really at home or you were really like in a sanctuary. Because I feel like that's what you're kind of looking for. I'm getting like a refugee type of energy. And you're looking for refuge. Like you're looking for a place where you can hang your hat. And for once you don't feel like you need to defend yourself or protect yourself. Like you really want to take that shell off. That crab shell. And hang up your shell. And relax in that very vulnerable, fleshy skin of yours for a while. but it's like you have no idea when it's gonna happen or when you're able to do it. But I feel like what you're walking away from is this stormy area. And you're having to walk and move into some place that allows for you to have both. Because there are some people in your life that have been through the thick and thin with you, but I don't think they've been on the battlefield with you, like side by side fighting these issues. And I think that was because you wanted to do this on your own with the King of Wands here. With the Three of Swords in your headspace with the rune Joy, I feel like it's been a long time since you created new happy memories. And I think it's really hard for you to think about prioritizing your happiness and think about living with joy as your priority. And everyone that's gotten the Three of Swords this month, I've reminded them that there's water, there's rain, and there's thunder in this card. And with rain, even though it can flood, right? Even though it can cause some type of issue, ultimately it's cleansing, right? When the water comes down, it cleanses us. And I feel like there needs to be a rewriting of the narrative too, that life is always hard and that living from your heart will cause you to be injured in some type of way, or that living from your heart will cause you pain. Because for some of you, I feel like there's this belief that you'll never be happy again. And that it's just not for you. Like you were damned to some kind of life that is just full of strife. And that's just totally not true. If you have Capricorn energy in your chart, I would definitely watch that reading because they had a similar message. But yeah, you need to walk away from that. Six of Swords. Okay? You need to walk away from that. And again, I feel like this is about choosing different, choosing a different path, choosing a different way, choosing a different approach. Whatever you have tried to do, tried over and over again, and have gotten the same results or more difficult results, it's time to go a new way. Yeah, because now we have the Ace of Cups with the Five of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Cups. So it's just time to let forgiveness into your life and again, like take that shell off. Find those people that are going to allow you healing. And this is again talking about moderation and patience. And I can't stress enough, Cancer, that there's never a perfect time to be vulnerable. There's never a perfect time to like you're not going to have your life all 100% together and then invite in forgiveness and then invite in respite and then invite in those people that have been waiting 6 years for you to get it together. You know what I'm saying? There has to be like both. There's room for both. There's room from healing from life's tribulations and walking away from that into a new dawn. And Spirit's advice on how to do that is we have the Hanged Man with the Ace of Wands. And on the Ace of Wands, we have self. So I feel like there needs to be a new perspective, again, like I've been saying, on the action that you take and on what inspires you to get up and get going, whether it be at work, whether it be in your private life, whether it be with your family. Whatever it is that gets you out of bed every day, or the ways in which you approach things. I also feel like you need to really reflect on what you put on hold. Because the Ace of Wands, yes, it's a new opportunity and it's a new idea and it's a new spark. But with the Hanged Man here, it could be like we put those things on hold. So what are the things that really excite you and light you up, but that you put on hold for whatever reason? And I feel like this is all going to fully come into, I feel like this is going to fully all come into clarity by Pisces season. But the Hanged Man is saying that if you're going to, first of all, take a break from the chaos, first of all. And look at your life on its head. Like, I feel like you need to look at things from another person's perspective, from, like an out-of-body. Like, I almost feel like you need an out-of-body experience and look at your life through a whole different lens and think about, and I also feel like you would really benefit from looking at your life through people's eyes that are in your life. And I just see you like sitting here in meditation, right? And you visualize 5 people that you really love and that are really important to you. And it's kind of like you go around the room and hop your perspective, hop your soul into each one of those person's eyes and you start to see how they see you. Oh my God, I'm about to cry. And it's like when you start to see how other people see you, I feel like this Three of Swords type of rain comes over you, because I think that you're kind of humbled and like shocked to know how much people care about you, and how other people see you. And I think that you'll realize that the way that you view yourself is far less compassionate than the way that other people see you. And it will help you alter the way that you move through your own life. Because the most likely outcome moving into January is the Nine of Swords with the rune Safety. And we have the Ace of Swords. So again, another 10, right? And on the Ace of Swords, we have the rune Journey. So I feel like you're going to realize that factoring worry into your life path is detrimental. Taking the route of avoidance, like, oh, I think that if I take this route, I might mess up later. If I take this route, I might disappoint somebody later. Or I don't know if I'm gonna. It's like a fear of things that are down the road, instead of just putting one foot in front of the other. So with the Nine of Swords and Safety, I feel like your comfort zone, your quote safety net, I feel like has caused you a lot more harm than good. And will end up putting you in a position where you regret what you don't do. And with the Ace of Swords here, I feel like you're going to start to see your whole life journey, your whole path through a whole new set of eyes. Like y'all heard it in my voice. I was really about to cry. So this is also energy of like send the flowers while they can still smell them. Like life is happening right now, Cancer. So take risks. Okay, it's not going to seem like a risk to other people. Like other people are going to be like, Cancer, it's so basic, just do this, right? But for you, it feels like a massive risk, and it's very scary. And it kind of just racks your brain. So don't be afraid to move outside and hang up that shell for a little while. Not with everybody, but with the people that you can trust, because this Ace of Swords, I feel like is going to directly come from this redirection of your energy and your new approach to the way that you present yourself in your own agenda. And you're going to see a whole different avenue. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune again. And then we got the Queen of Crystals. So this may have to do with work, or again, if you have Capricorn or any type of earth energy in your chart, or you deal with a Queen of Pentacles, right? Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. I feel like you're going to have a whole new perspective on the way to approach your life path, and that you can't plan for problems. You know what I mean? And you have to have faith that if a problem crops up, then you'll know what to do with it. You know what I mean? You'll have the tools. Yeah, because then I got the Page of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and the bottom of the deck is the Star. To chase your dreams means to live boldly, you know, and to believe and be willing to be vulnerable. And that, again, fortune favors the bold. That was your message 2 months ago. And the Page of Wands with the Nine of Wands is saying, take a risk despite what's happened before, because you're different now and so is your path. All right, Cancer? I love you guys. Peace.